Hello, my name is Chari Konomi.
My name is Jeff Stone. Welcome back to another episode of ChatGBC.
Here's what's happening this week at Goldey-Beacom. February 13th, the True Black History Museum, 10 a.m. at the Jones Center. February 14th is women's basketball and men's basketball against Georgian Court at 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. respectively, and also Valentine's Day. For the women, it is also the breast cancer awareness game. February 15th, midday movies at 11 a.m. February 16th, baseball opening day at Doyle Field, I believe. Fact check on that. February 17th, women's basketball and men's basketball are in action again against Post. We need to beat Post at 1 p.m. for the women and 3 p.m. for the men. Back to you.
Perfect. So we have another guest with us, but before we introduce her, we have a commercial break. Hey, intern. Did you send that email out to accepted students yet?
I was just about to hit send.
Great.
Shh. Wait. I've been accepted? You've been accepted to Goldey-Beacom College. Goldey-Beacom.
Hi, welcome to Goldey-Beacom.
Goldey-Beacom? I thought it was Goldey-Beacom.
Goldey-Beacom. Bring the bacon. Actually, it's Goldey-Beacom, but we do have golden bacon.
So with us today is Juana Henao. Did I say that right?
Close enough.
How do you actually say it?
Juana Henao. The H is silent.
Because it's Spanish, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Colombian.
Colombian. Well,
Is that
the
still
language.
Spanish?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Do you speak Colombian?
No.
No.
I was going to try to say no habla.
No, I'm not Colombian.
There you go. If that was actually a language, that would have been correct.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, okay, so Juana was recruited to GBC in what year, 2015?
Yes.
Damn, what a guess.
A long time ago,
To play
yeah.
soccer on the women's soccer team.
Yes,
and,
sir.
Then you played cross country, or ran
She
cross
played
country.
cross
Yeah, she
country.
played cross country. She ran cross country. You were an RA. You started a bunch of clubs, maybe not. You were a winner of the Dean's Cup. And now you're a part of the alumni board, right?
Yeah, that's correct. 2 years in a row.
That is awesome. And
Thank you.
You also met your husband here, Brandon.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of history tracks back to Goldey.
Amazing.
I mean,
And then-
much to give back to the school.
Yeah. And your wedding, your and Brandon's wedding, was the first wedding that Senya and I photographed. There's been like 50 weddings now, but yours
Oh,
was
wow.
the first. Yeah. And it's one of my favorite. One of the photos that we took there is still my favorite. The one of
Brandon and my dad.
Yes, it's just.
I know.
It's just such a perfect moment. It's like what we wanted to get into weddings for, and it's crazy that it's the first one still there, and but yeah, it's beautiful. And so I guess let's get into how you originally got to Goldey. So you're
Sure.
from Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
And
Born
that's-
and raised.
Yeah, that's in South America. So tell me how you found Goldey and how you got here.
Sure. So honestly, I didn't find Goldey per se. So when I was in 4th grade, I had a teacher from the Philippines, and she was like, "Do you know you can get an athletic scholarship to go to the U.S. for college?" I didn't have any clue. I mean, I was like 10 years old. But the idea really stuck to my mind. And as I was getting older, getting better in soccer and academically too, I thought, maybe this is something that I can pursue. So I started doing my research. And then when I was in 9th grade, there was these like college fair, and they brought in an agent that could help you with college applications in the U.S. because mainly these college fairs are mainly for colleges within Colombia. So I found this guy. This was like one of his first encounters in Colombia because he was originally from Venezuela. But just to keep it short, he helped me, do my NCAA profile, my application, get together all my transcripts, my records.
Yep.
And he asked like which requirements I had. So a few years before my senior year, I had come to the U.S. To Washington, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, if you ask me what my favorite city in the U.S. is, I have to go to Washington, D.C. So I said, I want to stay close to Washington. It doesn't have to be that because as a capital city, it can be very expensive. So I told him my requirements, and he found GBC, and I got the best offer scholarships-wise. It was the most affordable. So I said, you know what, let's go to Delaware. And here I am almost 9 years later.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So we never really talked about your story. What was yours like compared to hers?
Yeah, so there was a similar thing with an agent. We had a couple friends of mine on my team had come to America. One went to Georgia Southern and one went to Charleston, and they both had really good experiences, both like in school and soccer-wise. So I kind of followed and got in touch with the agency that they were in touch with, and then were able to get to America through that. But yeah, you had to get a lot of paperwork. You had to do a lot of NCAA stuff. Like I literally got like a whole document of things that I need to check off the list and prepare, and then had to sign up for like English proficiency test, like SATs and the TOEFL test. And everything was in English, and you're like, oh, I better freshen up on the on the English language. But yeah, it was a very similar thing. But it wasn't at a college fair though, because at the college fairs in Sweden, they'll take you to the actual colleges.
Okay.
So we have a city close by to us that we call a student city, because there's a big university there, and you go and you check the different like majors that they have, because they have a big array of majors. So we go on like a college visit essentially, but it's a town visit because you can visit that whole town.
Oh, very nice.
So you find GBC, you get here.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first impression? Like, I know you've watched the show Rebelde. That's like high school, right?
Yeah, it is high school.
But what
very
did you-
problematic
And that's not even in
teenagers.
America, so I can't compare. But like, Hari always talks about the American colleges in the movies,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your first impression of Goldie, and like, what did you expect versus what did you find here?
Okay, I think my expectation was very similar to what I came to see, aside from the size of the college. This was my mistake. I barely did any research on Goldie, and honestly, there wasn't that many information out there. Like now, because of Lightning Studio and other things that have happened between 2015 and now, there's videos. You have, for example, now the podcast, all the Instagram accounts. We didn't have that back then. So I pretty much just went to what there was on the college's website, and maybe they had one or two YouTube videos. So I was like, let's see what happens once I get there. But I think kind of similar, I guess, to your experience. You have like these, what's the name of the movie? American Pie type
yeah.
of,
Yeah.
and the red Solo cups, and
beer pong
the
and
very
stuff.
common names like Matt or Brandon
Or
or
Tyler.
Michael, whatever it might be. So it's like, just like you are living in a movie at a very small scale. But Goldie has its competitive advantage that we have so many international students, which I was not expecting. I really thought that I was going to be one of the only people to be an international student. And, my freshman year, we were 6 in Leach Hall, and 4 of us were from different countries. So that was also very shocking to know that I would be sharing my experience alongside with other people who were going through the same as I was. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so you brought up Brandon. And so then how long into your time here did you meet Brandon?
So I was a sophomore when the baseball team started, and he was in the inaugural class, and he was a freshman. So we met at a party probably the first or second week of September, and we started dating in October. So
Wow, move fast. Huh?
yeah,
Wow.
no time to waste.
A party at Goldie? No way. No.
It was actually off campus.
Was it one of the baseball players?
It was, yes,
I know,
yes,
yeah.
it was.
So yeah, that's amazing. And Brandon was on. I played baseball with Brandon. He could throw the ball over the plate, which was really good. He was a great pitcher for GBC. And yeah, so you had an incredible time at Goldie. I guess we'll get into that in a little bit. But and then Brandon, you know, you met your husband here, and now your younger brother goes here. So like, you obviously have a special love for GBC. Like,
Definitely.
Why? You know, why GBC?
Well, I think that I always go back to thinking about the people that made my experience so significant and how the college in itself helped me to get to where I'm at today. And you have to give back. It's just that simple. I feel that you're not going to get anywhere in life if you don't trace back your steps and see who of the people that were surrounding you made a significant impact. To me, that was Goldie. Like I mentioned, I was decided that I didn't want to stay in Colombia, but being here, meeting all these amazing people, seeing how I had such a steep curve into my growth really helped me make a decision that I wanted to stay in the United States. And with that being said, there was many other international students behind me. And at the end of the day, some people do end up looking up to you. And I took that role very seriously in an unofficial matter, because I was never like, I'm going to be a trailblazer and I'm going to do this for everyone that's coming behind me. But if there's one person paying attention, and if there's one person that I can help out, let's go for it. I'm going to do it. And I guess also very unconsciously, I did that for my siblings as well, which that's why one of my siblings is now here too. And he's kind of following my steps in his own way, and also making his impact so he's not like shadowed by the things that I was able to do at Goldie. But yeah, it was more so just to show a way that I was very thankful for the opportunities that I got here, because you know, and I don't know if you had this similar experience, or even you, because you were also a student athlete, but you applied to all these colleges, right? And maybe of 10 of them, only 1 or 2 may get back to you. So I'm really thankful that Goldie took a chance on me, and if it wasn't for that reason, I wouldn't be here. So yes, I will give back as much as the school allows me to, and I'll continue to be involved for as long as I can.
I was fascinated by that. You know, like, what did you say to your brother? Because I'm trying to get my younger brother to come here, because like similarly, like Goldie changed my life and it helped me find a direction. And I'm like, I see it, you know, I see how much, you know, it's like, you don't really necessarily have to come here for one thing. You can come here to just get the ball rolling, and then it can turn into something. So yeah, what did you say to him specifically?
Wow, I think that's a tough one. Because I think when Felipe was going to come here, he didn't really have a clear idea if he wanted to come to the US, if he wanted to come to Goldie, if he wanted to stay in Colombia. Thankfully, he had the possibility to come here twice before he started his freshman year. So one was for my undergraduate graduation. The other one was for the wedding. And in those 2 instances, I told him, you need to come to school. You got to meet the coaches. I actually had him come to one of my classes with Dr. Thurley, a leadership class. And he sat on the front. He was able to see we were presenting on some topic. But he was able to live a little bit of the college experience as a maybe 15, 16-year-old. And I think partially that opened his eyes as to what he could expect from Goldie. But when it came down to really making a decision, it was, and it might sound horrible, but really comparing where I'm at compared to where my peers are at in Colombia. What I have been able to accomplish in the years after my high school graduation, and what have they been able to accomplish. And I think the biggest difference is how independent I am financially, and mainly financially, but everything else that revolves around my life. And I think that Felipe really saw that and really took it in as to, okay, do I want to be independent and like really take the strings to my life from the moment I move out of my house? Or do I want to, stay comfortable and maybe rely a little bit more on my parents? So I think that was really what made him realize, okay, maybe Goldie's a good option. I've already seen how I can progress, how I can become a better person, how I can really develop as a professional and then take it to the next step.
Yeah, that's amazing. What was your major?
It was
Your undergraduate, I guess.
Yeah, it was business admin with a concentration in finance.
Okay, and then for your master's?
It was MBA with I had 2 concentrations just so I could stay in school a little longer,
Yeah.
an extra semester. But I did financial management and international business.
Yeah, and so how was your experience in the classroom here? Because I can't speak on that. We've talked about that before. How was your experience in the classroom here? And like, did you feel like you learned, what you expected to?
Sure. So I think that my expectations as to what academically I wanted was not exactly what I got here. I noticed that some of the syllabus was not maybe as up to date as I would have expected. Nonetheless, I feel that the professors only got a way into adding something in addition to what was written down on the syllabus. So I remember one of the international business classes, the professor really took in his experience to show us how he developed in the workforce, how things had changed in the 40, 50 years that he had been in the workforce. So I think that more than the content in itself, it really prepared me as to the professional that I wanted to be. So I really was able to take in cues from different professors, different classes, and really understand what I wanted to focus on. So I just said I was a finance major. After I graduated, I was like, I'm definitely not going into that industry, into that field. I absolutely hate it. It's too much stress. I can see how some of the professors had that stressful experience. And then for some others that were more focused into like project management or something that was more customer facing, they could have a better work and life balance. So I really took that in, and it helped me make that decision when I started applying for jobs. Okay, what path am I going to take? So I think that Goldie's like biggest thing in regards to how they teach the student is how they make you an overall well-being. So you're a great person, you're a great student, you're a great employee in the future once you are in the workforce, and you have like all these different skills and qualities that will set you apart from the people that you will be competing with.
Yeah, really quick, the professor that you said was able to incorporate his personal experience into the international business, was that Habibi Omar?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure because this was quite some time ago.
Yeah, no, I'm only asking because his picture's framed back there. And I was like,
yes, that was him.
Yeah,
yes.
I had him too, and he was very good at like using his experience, bringing it in and speaking passionately. I remember in a vlog, I did a vlog because he spoke so passionately that I paid attention.
Yeah,
and so
me too.
I did a vlog, and I was filming it with my phone from like under the desk here. And it made it into one of the it was like the one with the soccer team or whatever. And like at one point he's speaking in this rhythm, and then he looks right at me while I have it, and I'm like, he's gonna see I'm like filming him in this like thing, and then he didn't. He just kept going on, but it was like, I think it was about like how the tests is just a motivation to like figure things out. It's not like actually, you have to like figure out other ways to learn things to actually, or apply things to actually learn them. But
exactly.
You want to be in business? And you do well in the exam, that's the first step. The real game starts after you finish the first exam or the exams. But exams is just to motivate you to learn.
But yeah, so you mentioned at the end of what you said that, Goldie does a great job of creating like an overall person. Athletics plays a huge part in that. I was just talking with Senya that athletics does a great thing of, teaching you hard work, you know, like self-discipline, teamwork. And when you come out of that, you can apply that to other things in your life. Can you tell me about like your experience on the different teams you were on and how that like played a role?
Yes, absolutely. So back in 2015, when I came to Goldie, we had a very, well, not very small, but compared to nowadays, we had a small roster on the soccer team. We were 16 my freshman year. So you definitely had to compete for your spot on the pitch. But it never came down to really being competitive against one another, but how you could help each other to have that position. And if you didn't have it, then that's okay. You were going to be, because I was that person, you were that person on the sideline, really encouraging your teammates to achieve the best performance that they can. So I think that was like on the soccer team what we did. And in cross country, it's completely different, right? So soccer is a team sport. You're helping each other. You rely on each other's performance. With cross country,
Racing.
yes, exactly.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're all good. You are racing, but
Didn't think about that.
you're racing against yourself all of the time because you know exactly what you're capable of. You cannot be running a 5K in 23 minutes and expect to run at the next race at 17. That's just literally impossible. So you know exactly what your time base is, what your body can take in, and because it's so mental, it can be very, very draining. So I would say the role that I saw from my teammates on the cross-country team was really pushing each other to raise that level of what your body could take, and really that mental endurance that you needed for training, for the races, and for anything else that like came your way. So that's something that I really took away with me, really pushing my physical and my mental boundaries. And I think that's why just a few years, 3 years after graduating from cross country or my undergrads, I was able to run my first marathon. Like I never had any training prior to that 1 year in cross country, because I did 3 in soccer, 1 cross country. I had never ran before. I just ran to get fit for soccer. And when the opportunity came around, I was like, you know, let's go ahead and do it. I wasn't getting much time on the soccer team, so I was like, I want to compete. Let me just do it for my senior year. So I did, and just like I mentioned, it just helped me grow that mental endurance, and with my own training, just competing a marathon, like I just never thought that I would have been able to push myself to that limit. It's like 26 miles, and honestly, even thinking of it right now, I'm like, how the hell did I do it?
Yeah, that's insane.
Thank you.
I didn't know how long like a marathon is.
Yeah.
I know that
Yeah.
they're
A
different.
Greek guy ran that, by the way. That's how it started.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was so it's still a thing in Greece now where they'll do the marathon where the guy ran the marathon, and he was like a messenger. He had to bring a message back to, I think, Athens. I'm not
To Zeus.
To Zeus. No, that's no. But he had to bring a message back. So, and that's the distance that people run nowadays.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he might have.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
And
you
just
might-
to think that nowadays there's like ultra races, like
Yeah.
50, 100, 200 miles. It's insane.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. What did he swim to? Is that where the triathlon came from? He had to
ooh.
swim across this lake.
I don't know. I don't
He had to
think so.
fight this like what are some Greek myths?
He had to fight the Hydra. Yeah, definitely. Cut off one head, 2 more take its place. So it was difficult. But yeah, no, he didn't.
What is your favorite Greek myth?
Greek myth. Oof, favorite one. Definitely would have something to do with Hercules, because he had the 12 trials that he had to do to prove himself worthy of being ascending into being a god.
Okay.
Because he was only a demigod, you know. I think he's like a little bit of the basis on how Superman is now, where he's kind of, you know, so powerful. But at the point, it's funny because in the Disney movie, in the cartoon, when he does like do all of these amazing things and becomes a hero, a true hero, and he doesn't like do it for his own, you know, vanity, Zeus invites him to, you know, go up to Olympus and be with all the other gods. But that's when he had actually, the journey to becoming a hero actually was a journey of him becoming human. And so when he was able to ascend, he chose not to. He chose to live in the Disney movie. He chose to live a normal human life with his partner, with his woman. So
Just like Aragorn's wife in
Lord
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back to humans.
Yeah, but the story of becoming, like how you said, where the journey at Goldie kind of transformed you into who you are today and made you this person, this multifaceted person. Do you think that your experience as on the different athletic teams, but also as an RA and also an active member of the campus community, how did that shape the person that you are today? In what kind of ways? If you could give us some examples. Specific ones.
Like concrete examples?
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Like
I actually
stories you
had
remember,
forgotten
yeah.
about the RA side. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
the RA, that one was crazy too, because now you're dealing like one-to-one with a person and their personal issues in sometimes, and roommate conflict, and many things that are not even worth mentioning.
Conflicts at Goldie? No way.
But I think right now, currently I'm a project manager for a German company, and there's many employees, and I lead 2 main groups, and I have to talk to a lot of software engineers. Now, I don't want to generalize, but they have their own personalities, and sometimes it can be very hard connecting with them. And I think what I really got from all the teams at Goldie is that if you want to go past that barrier that sometimes we might build on the workforce, is getting to them personally. So really stupid questions like, how's the weather on your end in India, millions of kilometers away from me? Or I heard that it's raining a lot in Germany. How is that affecting you? Those little things, they go, oh my God, they just take you to being able to approach that person. So whenever the case may be that I need something work related, they already know me. We can have a little chit chat on the side, but I'm going to get exactly the information that I want. So I think that also with all these teamwork that I did at Goldie, I was really able to understand that you're not going to be able to get to these people, whomever that might be, CEO, CFO, an intern that's under me, whomever it is, until you make that personal connection. So we cannot forget that behind the employee, there's always a person.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same with RAs, same with athletes, same with faculty. Like, there is always a person. So we have to be also very conscious that maybe not everybody's having the best day. We have to understand that the world's constantly changing around us, and something that may not affect us may be affecting others. And if we don't take that into consideration, then we're just going to go around the world like donkeys, when they have those things, or horses, and they just go through. We cannot be like that. Wow. So that is another takeaway from Goldie. Don't be a donkey.
Yeah. I love that. So what is your position and where do you work? And then as well, how did you get that job?
Sure. So I work for a company called SAP. It's a German tech company. And I started working there as an intern in June 2021. So how I got there, that's a very interesting question, Jeff. So anyone that knows me and that was with me throughout my years at Goldie, because I studied finance, when I graduated, I was like, I need to work for JP Morgan. That was my top, that was the company that I wanted to work for. So I graduated from my master's, I started applied to thousands of jobs, different companies, all multinationals, because I needed sponsorship because I'm an international student. And I got 2 calls back, one for JP Morgan and one for SAP. For JP Morgan, that was a full-time position as a risk associate, and the one for SAP was an intern position for Global Cloud Services, which is what I do right now. So it's just cloud services. And I had both interviews, and my interview with JP Morgan was absolutely horrible. I did not feel that personal connection with the person that was interviewing me. It just felt very rushed. That person wasn't prepared, didn't give me the time to explain myself, ask my questions. And I had a completely different experience with my interview at SAP. They asked me a lot about my experience during college, how my experience has been in the US, what I was aiming to do with this role, where I wanted to be. And I really felt that connection. I thought, I can really work with these people. And I decided to ditch my offer from JP Morgan and decided to go with SAP just for that human side that I saw throughout the interview. And I was an intern for a full year. Because of the amazing processes with USCIS, which is the immigration department in the US.
Shout out to immigration.
I had to leave my role for 4 months until my documentation arrived. Everything was already approved. It was just in the mail. It took much longer than expected. So yeah, like I mentioned, I left for 4 months. I was not fired, but I was terminated, so I had to reapply, go through the whole process once again. But I was very lucky to find another team within my same organization, so still with SAP, still with Global Cloud Services, and that's where I'm at right now for almost a year and a half.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, 1 second. Hari, we're going to keep going, but Hari shouted out the U.S. Immigration Services. If they are going to, if we're shouting them out at all, it's to tell them to get their together.
Yes.
So
yes.
I want to talk really quickly about the overall, this is like a little bit of a conversation that I want to raise, and you two talk, and Senya's here in the room too. You all three are international students. You have your green card, Juana. Senya has her green card. One day, my brother.
One day.
What are some suggestions just for, like, you guys have gone through this process. What are some suggestions just for, like, if America was to listen to ChatGBC, what would they want to hear from, like, these people who have a dream? Because I wonder how many students that go to Goldie now have a dream to stay in America. And if they have that dream, how do they go from the dream to the reality?
So I think you said something that's very important, and that's if you have the dream to stay. I feel that if you are in a position as an international student that, you landed in the US, you're going to start your freshman year. From day one, you need to make sure that you want to stay, because it's an everyday battle. It's not, it's my senior year, let me apply for an internship. That's not the way it works. There's already millions, you can look it up, there's millions of international students that are going through the exact same process as you are. And we're not going to an Ivy League. So the name of your college, depending on where you go, will have no resonance whatsoever into what you're going to do when you graduate. So what's going to set you apart? What you do day in and day out during your 4, 5, 6 years of university or college. So I think for me, that was very obvious at the beginning. I did not want to go back to Colombia. I wanted to stay here. So I started working very early on. Now, there are some limitations, but there's also hoops like absolutely any process or anything in the world. Of course, you have to pay close attention to those hoops because you don't want to do anything illegal. But there's CPT. Take advantage of that. That's like when you can work part-time during your academic years, and maybe we should also do like a fact check on what exactly that means. But so you have that, and then once you graduate from the different degree, you get something that's OPT, which means you're able to work full-time for 1 year after you graduate, so post-graduation, and if you're in a STEM-related field, it's up to 3 years. So if you want to stay, go to STEM. But I think that you need to keep this in mind, because you need to take advantage of CPT and OPT. That's going to help you build your resume. And I feel the school does, and again, I'm going back to my experience. I think the school did a decent job at providing as much as they could for us students, but I definitely think that there was a lot of research that I had to do on my own. Finding the roles that I wanted to apply for, finding the companies that would be willing to take the time to fill out all the paperwork that we have to do, talking to those, for the people that were interviewing me to, give them that peace of mind that it's okay. Like, I'm not asking you to sponsor me. This is just the paperwork that the school and I guess the government requires for me to be able to work part-time and all of these things. But just to keep it very short, it is what you do every single day. You have to work. You have to build your resume. Start thinking about what you want to do once you graduate and work towards that. So, for example, like you guys, you do things with media. Use Instagram, use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the social media of the workforce. I absolutely hate it. I do a terrible job at it. If you go out and look at it, I don't have any post whatsoever. But there's people that do take advantage of it, and it works marvelous things for them. So do what you have to do. Do your research. Do something that will really bring value to you. There's a ton of free courses out there. SAP, my employer, they have something called Open SAP or SAP courses. They're all free. You will get a certification. Coursera, Google, Microsoft, you name it. All of these companies, they have it. What are you doing to set you apart from everybody else? It's in those between the lines where you will be that person that the employer wants eventually.
Yeah, that is wonderful advice.
I wanted to ask Juana, because your dream was to go to JP Morgan, and Hercules' dreams in the story is to go up to Olympus. But then he found that maybe there was something more valuable in being human, let's say, or going to something else. Because I think a lot of young people, especially if either they're in college or postgraduates, they have this idea that, well, it's only about I need to, make sure that I'm doing exactly what they need and present, and which is a very big part of it. But there's also the other side to see, okay, the people that I'm interviewing with, what are they like? Do I really want to see myself there? Can I really work there? And I think it's very interesting that you say that, well, you didn't connect with JP Morgan, even though from outside that was your dream, but you found something better somewhere else. And can you speak a little bit on that? Should students focus also on what they are going to? Because one thing in interviews is you should also ask questions. And I think that also shows them that you are prepared, but also it can showcase for you the answers that, okay, would I really want to work here? Because, for example, for myself, I feel that, well, I'm not even worried about that. I'm just, nervous about being good enough to, for a company or for something like that. But there's the other side of it too.
Yes. Well, that's a tough question. I would say that at the end of the day, the companies are looking for a person. So we all go back to the human that's behind the employee. And yes, you could have all these certifications, all these preparations, but if you don't present yourself in the right manner, or, if the person does not align what's on the paper, then you're not going to transcend to the next level, the next round of interviews, whatever it might be. So I think it's also a matter of really pointing at the mirror and being, okay, what have you done to really deserve where you at right now? How are you presenting yourself? And, when I was preparing for these interviews with the companies, I had to write down a little script. And I told this to Brandon because he was interviewing recently, but I was like, you need to, tell who you are, where you come from. And I always say, I'm the oldest of 5 kids. I have 5 younger brothers. I played soccer from the age I'm 10. I came to the U.S. on a soccer scholarship. This is what I did in college, blah, blah, blah. Talking about the sports, the clubs, the organizations, all those little things. And I think that's the main problem when you're applying for these jobs, that you're so focused on the things that the employer might want. So I took a course in, Microsoft Excel. I'm these proficient in PowerPoint.
Resume things.
Exactly.
That just they see across their table
all the time. All the time. So that it matters, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. And I know all of us have heard these from people at Goldie, from career services, from the employers. Wherever you go, they're going to teach you what they want you to do. It's just that simple. If you don't know it, they'll teach you. And in majority of the cases, I would say you don't know it because each company has their own culture, their own things, their own softwares. So you will have to learn as you go. But you have to be like that persona that they're looking for. So how are you going to build that? Okay, I've done these, and that in college, and that has made me these, and that. Just be authentic and don't be scared of, how do you say this in English? None of you
say
guys
it in
speak
Spanish. Say it in Spanish.
Rechazar. Like when you, like what happened to me with JP Morgan, that offer came by and
Stick to your gut, you know?
I just denied it. I threw it in the trash because my gut didn't tell me that was correct. And honestly, if I would have gone with that, who knows where I would be right now? It doesn't matter because it didn't happen. So also stop thinking of what if. What if it didn't happen? That's done. It's gone. It was never a part of who you were supposed to be. So
Think about what could come to be. It's the best advice I got related to school was that specific thing from my cousin's husband. And I only, like, they were older than me, 10, 15 years older. Her name's Betsy and his name is Tyler. And I remember, you know, I was about to head into, like, I was struggling out of high school, struggling in a junior college. And he's like, you know, what are you going to major in? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, just pick something. He's like, people don't care at the end of the day what specifically your degree is. He says, it's like joining a sports team. You might join it to be, you know, start as the right back. You end up a right wing, you know, and it's just things change over time. You don't know how it's going to work out. You've got to, like, so for me, before I found filmmaking, I was borrowing baseball. Like, let me give my best to baseball and see where that takes me. And it took me, ironically, here.
Right.
You know, I was done after junior college. I was like, there's no way that someone's going to take a older guy who kind of is a pain in the ass, who wants to be like a captain, you know, and also wants to make films. And it's like, and then next thing you know, Goldie calls, and it led me to, like, giving my best that I could that year, like, led me to empty the tank. And I was like, I have nothing left to give to baseball, but I've got something else here, you know. And but I want to move a little bit more into your story with, because now you're on the alumni board. So what could we do, like, with our generation of alumni? Because you mentioned earlier that you lived with 4 other girls that were from different countries. I know you're still in contact with them.
Yeah.
You know, and so how many people that you went to school with here that had a similar experience that you had are you still in contact with that we could figure out a way to connect with somehow?
A lot of them, I would say. I'm really bad at staying in touch, so my apologies to all my friends. But at the end of the day, even if it's just one message throughout the year, we do stay in touch. And one thing that we can do to, like, really bring everybody back, that's a great question.
A reunion.
A reunion, yeah. Honestly, though, but that's something that I wanted to bring to Jeremy, that when the alumni games for soccer, when we plan them, we should try to communicate them very early on, because I would say especially for the soccer boys, I mean, the passion's there. You guys won the championship, so of course they want to get back together and see each other. So probably from the school's perspective as to what they can do, if they have the possibility to bring everyone back together, let's do it with maybe even a year, 2 years in advance. It's not that easy to plan international travel. So, and a lot of them did go back to their countries.
The tennis had a great reunion.
Amazing. I
Joe
even
Kissel
went. I didn't play tennis,
I know.
but
I was there
went
too.
There. Yeah. And that's the thing that...
and that's someone like Joe Kissel, who coached that team, recruited those girls, made such an impact, and brought them together. I mean, we have the photo on the wall there from the reunion of the girls that went out and played, and he came all the way to Serbia for our wedding,
for your guys'
see
wedding.
Senya, and then got to see the girls that were on that team that won the championship, and then as well some of the ones that he recruited after that he retired, and that's like it's a legacy, you know. And then and so he led the charge for organizing that, and so it's almost like some of those core people that were a part of those teams have to, like, take charge, because I know that he
Right,
reached
take the
out to some
lead.
of the core group of girls from over the years to say, to like bring them together in a group message and say, how do we make this thing happen? And it was beautiful. You know, I remember like there's photos and I think video of him, you know, he's like
Playing,
with
right?
the girls again, and that's just like, it's beautiful. And there's also one of my favorite moments from the wedding is when Joe brought Sunny out to dance, and it was like, it was just beautiful to the Serbian music.
He's
I mean,
the best.
we're in Serbia, like it's crazy.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think that's a good idea. And I know athletics is definitely is building, and now they're having like we used to not have a homecoming, and now they've started
Right.
homecoming. So there's definitely those things growing. I guess it's just this balance between, you know, bring them back physically, but also virtually, you know, like we have the alumni Facebook group that people
Right.
could join and, you know, figure out a way to share more stories and connect there. And I don't know, maybe some things, you know, I can't think of it, you know, but it's just leave it open to conversation for ideas. But
And just to add to that real
Yeah.
quickly, Jeff, I talked, and you talked as well, as how the college can make that happen, but it goes both ways, right? So we cannot forget
Yeah.
that the ones that are not in the US anymore, I know it's not easy coming here, but like you said, virtually we can always get together.
Yeah.
And the school has a lot of opportunities in which the alumni can share their experience. I did it last year with Gabby Chavez and Lorenzo. I can't remember who. Van is still in the U.S. So 2 tennis girls and a soccer guy. And I had actually never met Gabby before. I had heard of her many, many times. And we were able to connect. Now we're LinkedIn connections. Ooh. And, right, that goes a long way. But, yeah, the school is always open into bringing their alumni on board and helping out. So if anyone is up to do it, they can reach out to me. I'll take that on me, that role. But we can make something happen. And it doesn't have to be like work related or anything like that. It can be a happy hour, social, or something like that. But just to catch up, I mean, it's good to see how everybody's doing, and especially, you know, we shared. And you've seen it. I don't know exactly how it is right now, but we were such a tight knit. And I know many people have gotten married and now they have kids. They've moved to other parts in the world. And we just know that because of social media. Wouldn't it be so nice to hear it from the person that's living that experience? So maybe,
it's like sharing your life updates in the Facebook group. And then if you're local to Wilmington, Amy she's working with Alumni now. She's my coworker, and she does have these events. You know, we still do like monthly alumni events, and I know that alumni engagement is a thing we need to work on, you know, and so.
And we're open, we're open to suggestions too.
Yeah.
We had many events planned for last year that were not successful as we thought. Do you have anything in mind? Reach out to Amy, put it on the Facebook chat, whatever it is. We can make that happen.
Because the people who work here we're limited with time. People are working multiple roles, so it's just like the wonderful story of the tennis reunion. It's these people who really care to try to bring everybody back together that can just double down, and then you have these resources from the college that are gonna bring, you know, open arms to you to say like, yes, do you need the space? Do you need this? You know, Colleen will be there whenever something like that happens. Chuck will be there. That, you know, they'll come together to make it happen. It's just the ideas, you know, can come a different way. But so I have one more question for Juana, but I want to kind of leave it open for a final thing if there's anything. So, you know, you, with all your journey, you know, finding GBC in 2015, you know, wanting to not stay in Colombia, you know, you've left your family, and I'm sure you've made them so proud, you know, and you've done so great already. You've set such a great example for your brother. What is your dream? Like, what is it that you really are like? I know you and Brandon just got a house, you know, and so what is your like dream role, position, your dream? What is it that you would really love to do with your life?
Okay. I think that I want to go back. Oh my God, I feel like I'm a broken record, but go back a little bit into something that takes care more of people, how they are as a human being versus something that's more corporate. So right now, I'm helping a coworker with this diversity and inclusion project, and it's very, very cool. I also did a few things in the past with other coworkers, and I really like that idea that we need to understand everybody's backgrounds and take all these different things that make a human being into consideration. So I would really love to dive into something like that. But I had the opportunity to meet one of our top executives. Her name's Julia White, in an event in New York last summer. And she is absolutely amazing. I mean, just seeing her talk with such power and confidence, and seeing a trailblazer in the IT world as a woman, that was just amazing to me. And if I decide to stay in this line of business, I would love to get to be in a position like hers. Like, to me, the sky's the limit. I would definitely want to be a CEO or reach that level eventually. Am I following the right steps? Who knows? I really hope I am. But nonetheless, yeah, just continue to push myself. I think I'm now able to see exactly where my body can take me physically with the marathon run. Now, work-wise, I'm trying to push those limits higher and higher every day.
That's wonderful.
Let's see.
Yeah.
If I'm CEO one
I
day,
can see
I'll
that.
bring you guys
I
over.
can see that. Hey, yeah, I would love that. Yeah, so wait, maybe I shouldn't put that in. We're doing great. Yeah, look, it's all going well. Now,
Well, this will be years down the road.
years
so.
down the road. Yeah. Well, who knows? I'll still be here making movies with these guys. So now we're gonna move into the closing out with Chari's Polaroid of the day.
Yes. So keeping it double feature again. These I got last year. This one is Danny. He's from Ukraine. It says "You'll never walk alone." I think I might have done this one before, but we will cut it out if I have.
No, I don't think
and
so.
then the second one I got actually a couple of days ago was right outside of Falmouth.
Is he a Liverpool fan?
Yeah, of course he's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to.
That's
make
why
that.
he wrote
Ethan,
that.
is also
Yeah.
and
No, Ethan will love.
There's
this.
a Wilmington Liverpool.
Really?
So one day I was riding my longboard through the neighborhoods and I saw Ethan walking from his lawyer, where he was working, in a Liverpool jersey over to Trolley, and I was like, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "Dude, the Liverpool game's over in the Wilmington Liverpool."
Yeah. They show them, I
club.
think, every.
It's like,
Oh, wow.
well, they play the game, and there's like, and then I walk in and I'm like, there's like 20 guys with Liverpool jerseys on, and it's like a Liverpool fan club. What? Yeah, Catherine Rooney's.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
GBC alumni. Let's meet over at Trolley.
Yes.
Hey,
Okay.
St. Patty's Day.
Oh,
that was
St. Patty's Day
Shelby's
is
idea.
Fun. It's fun at Trolley.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
just make sure you eat a lot before.
Oh God, yeah. No.
Come prepared. And the last one I think also encapsulates a little bit this thing is, live, laugh, love.
Nice.
Just got the other day.
That's nice.
You know.
So I wanted to follow up really quick on the Liverpool fans. Catherine Rooney's Wayne Rooney, Manchester baby. They'll hate that. They're rivals.
There's no connection.
I don't
with-
know. I don't know what I'm saying.
Catherine Rooney has no connection with Wayne Rooney.
But Manchester United sucks right now. They need.
Aren't you a fan of that?
I like Wayne Rooney. Yeah. Can you believe that? Listen to this really quickly. This is so stupid that this is gonna make it in. But my favorite American football player is Tom Brady.
Oh, I
the
know.
GOAT of all goats. And then my favorite European football player was Wayne Rooney. Right. So Wayne Rooney played in England, Manchester. He came to coach at DC United. So that's one cool thing. He coached for a couple of years at DC United. Then Tom Brady retired and became part owner of
Birmingham.
yes,
I
thank
think
you,
so.
brother, Birmingham. And he's following with Rob McElhenney and
Ryan Reynolds.
And Ryan Reynolds. Man, saving me here. I'm buying a European soccer team. Then they hired Wayne Rooney to be the coach.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? And then they fired him.
Yeah. It was not doing well, unfortunately.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just a weird side thing. And then I wanted to end it with one thing, because when I introduced you, I said Juana, and I butchered your last name, but I'll say it Henao. Is it Juana Ferrie?
Nope.
Nope?
No. Okay, and I think it's
Because you did
of-
do a caption once where you're like, it's It's Juana Ferrie from
No,
here on
it's the
out.
other way around. I said now you can start calling him like Brandon Ferrie Henao Llaña. So Brandon's the one that needs to change his name. No, honestly, it's because two things mainly. First one, we don't do that in Colombia, so I just find it not weird, but it's just like
Really?
not how
Not
I
at all?
grew up with. No. I think the closest thing, and the only person that I know who did it is my grandma. My grandma's name is Clemencia Orozco, so Orozco is her family name. My granddad's family name is Llaña, so she was Clemencia Orozco de Llaña, from Llaña.
Right.
Yeah.
But so
But-
then, what do the kids? Which name do the kids take? Which last
both.
name? Both. Oh, right.
Mom and dad, or well, dad first and mom after. That's why my full name is Juana Henao. That's my dad's family name. Llaña, that's my mom's family
Oh my
name.
gosh. I
So
thought
you
that
keep
was
your.
Lana. I'm sorry.
It's okay. The N with the little.
Yeah.
doop
So
doesn't exist in
Ksenia
English.
in Serbia, Ksenia's name is Ksenia Markovic. So she didn't have a middle name. So our wedding photography business is Stone Weddings, and that's not the only reason why she took my name, but she's been running the business before that happened. So now it's official that it's Stone Weddings, her business. But we talk about like we want to use her last name still connected, because if it was just Ksenia Stone, it almost people could recognize the name Ksenia as possibly Serbian or maybe Russian or something like that. But Markovic is directly connected to her nationality, so it's just it's going to be challenging for her. But I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Say the point that I took it as my middle name.
right.
Yeah. Ksenia, she took it as her middle name, but it's like
But is
Yeah.
it a middle name or just a second last
it's
name?
just like a second last name. That's what I'm saying. It's like technically
But it
a
works
middle name, but-
perfectly though, because
Yeah.
then you have like 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
first name, middle name, and last name. To
Yeah.
me, I'm not getting rid
How many-
of
yeah.
either of my family names, so then I'll have 4 names. That's
Yeah.
way too
That's
long.
too much.
So
I like you, Brandon.
That's another thing. I love him, but and then I don't know how you went through these. Any like honestly,
Yeah.
good for you. Changing passport, visa, green card,
Yeah.
credit cards, debit cards, everything. Oh my God, that's too much work.
Yeah. Ksenia, yeah, Ksenia's gonna come on and explain some of the
Oh,
her
yes.
processes, and we'll just have to talk about the whole thing. But thank you so much for coming.
Anytime.
Yeah, this was amazing. This was the longest one, but we got to keep the whole thing. It was so good.
It was
yeah,
great.
it was so good.
Sure.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you, and see ya. See ya. I'm just gonna cut on them and cut all mine out. No.